Before we get in the show, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. As always, this show is presented to you by the Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Pro Pels Talk, located at 918 Poydras Street by the Superdome. Give them a call at 504-523-5413 if you or someone you know has been involved in an accident. Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Pro Pels Talk. Me and Lito tonight, we're both on baby duty, so we're
You saw me before. I was like, "Is that crime?"
I saw you do that. I mean, it's been a day, but you know what? Lito got you for a couple minutes. Appreciate you joining the show. Let's get it right into it. Elon Musk basically shut down Twitter, so I've been kind of trying to follow everything going on with Twitter.
It's fucking the weed. What did the weed?
It's unbelievable. But so obviously the Pelicans get Herb Jones done. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. 4 years, $54 million. Congratulations to Herb. I absolutely love the move. Now we're, I believe, $4 million over the tax. It's been said that I don't think we're going to be a tax team, so you're looking at cost, cutting moves here. The easy piece to move, Lito, is JV. But now you're starting to see a lot of those centers, off the board. So I'm going to throw a couple centers at you, and I would like to see if you would want this center or not. So we'll start off with the first guy, who I think is a legit target of this team, Zach Collins. Would you like to see JV trade for Zach Collins? JV makes, 12 million. Zach Collins makes 7. So you're cutting costs there. You get a serviceable center, but once again, Zach Collins, he had a great career year last year, but he's always hurt. Would you like to see Zach Collins?
I think Zach Collins is a tantalizing talent. He's a tantalizing prospect. I've liked Zach since he's in college. He played 1 year in college and been in the league ever since. But he has just been bitten with the injury bug. But I do like Zach. I think Zach is switchable. I think he'd be a serviceable big. Do I? Like it's hard to say full-time center with him just because he's kind of frail, but
right.
I do think, just based on how we've seen the usage of the center position here, I don't think it'll be an issue. I mean, you saw Larry, take his lumps at center, which is one of the things I think that actually ended up hurting Larry going forward in the year. Was just the punishment that he was taking. And I kind of worry about that with Zach, especially, if you're trading JV to the Spurs, that means you got to see him multiple times a year. And I don't think that'll be good for us. But I do really, really like Zach Collins.
I like Zach Collins too. And the reason why I don't mind him is because I see this team actually playing Zion a lot, the 5 this year. That's just my vision. I'm interested to see how Willie uses it. Because Zach Collins is probably a guy who can play 20, 25 minutes. The thing is that he's not dependable. I mean, there was a stretch there, Lito, like for 2 straight years, he didn't play a game. This is a team, especially losing Billy Hernangomez, just lost Jackson Hayes to the Lakers. They have literally no depth and no centers. And I think Schmidt even said it. Like Larry Nance can't play the 5 for a full season because, you just run them into the ground.
I feel like we've been saying that all year, where you know what I'm saying, like you can't, you know what I'm saying, and then can't for the physical limitations, and then can't for the rebounding limitations. And I understand what people, I get it. JV is a slow foot, guy. He doesn't have lateral quickness, but then when you put Larry in, you lose rebounding. You lose not only
size.
You lose size, you lose offensive and defensive rebounding. And while JV doesn't necessarily contest shots per se, he is in a 7th percentile of rebounding shots by his man.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna throw a name out at you. I don't think it's possible, but they've been linked to Jarrett Allen. If you want to pay the tax, you go ahead and get Jarrett Allen, in my opinion. But he makes 20 mil. JV makes 15. There have also been reports saying Kyra is on the trade block too. In order to make that work, you would have to attach JV. Kyra makes sense. Is Garrett Temple going to opt in? I don't know. Those two assets are negative assets. They're looked at as negative assets. So I think you'd have to attach another pick with that. But would you, to me, the perfect center is Jarrett Allen because he's a low usage guy. You already have Zion, Brandon, CJ. They're getting all your shots. Jarrett Allen's a rim protector, can switch, can rebound, can block shots. He can do it all. 6'11". He makes 20 mil a year though. I mean, and for what Chaz has been saying, I completely agree with him. I rather spend low on center instead of spend high. Paying 20 million for a center is probably not something I would do, but I'm not denying his talent. I really like the play. Would you like to see a trade for Jarrett Allen?
Really high on Jarrett Allen. Like I have been high on Jarrett Allen since he was in Brooklyn. He's gotten better offensively throughout his career. He's never going to be a high usage guy, but I've watched his points per game climb up statistically pretty much every year. I think last year he had a better year in Cleveland. I mean, it's with what's his name, with Spider coming over. It's a lot of mouths to feed, and I think he went from 16 last year to 14 points this year, which I mean 16 points for Jarrett. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's cool. Like, but he he still pretty much averaged a double this year. He put up 14 and 10 respectively, and he shot 73% from the free throw line. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to a guy like Jarrett Allen. I mean, you know, he's a rim runner. He's going to impact the paint. He can change the game defensively.
Yeah.
As far as maybe not even blocking shots, but just the intimidation factor. He's a long rangey guy. I mean, the 20 million turns me off, and the other thing that turns me off is just how Mitchell Robinson dominated him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, you know, I know that JV's not coming back. I'm not like I don't even want to lie. Yeah, go ahead.
I was thinking about that today because I wanted to throw another target at you, which I think a guy that makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's not like a sexy name, but Isaiah Stewart of Detroit, $3 million a year. He's a guy that, I mean, he gives you 8 rebounds, can 1 block a game, but I mean, the problem isn't JV. That's like to me that's not the problem. The problem is the way we use JV. What if he stays? What if JV stayed? What if he stayed?
I mean, listen, JV's my guy. I've represented him legally. I'm never gonna say JV isn't welcome to be here. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is that the usage. And if you can get a guy like, and listen, I'm a huge JV fan. I'm team JV. But if you can get a guy you want to fit your scheme, why not do that? What if Willie has a particular guy he wants
does.
to go
it's
after?
A rim protector that can switch 1 through 5, or that can be athletic around the perimeter, block shots, and defend. Because the reality of the situation, Lito, is that you got to have a rim protector to cover the defensive deficiencies of CJ McCollum, Zion Williamson. I mean, even Brandon Ingram's not that great of a defender. Their only really plus defenders the Pelicans have are Herb Jones, Dyson Daniels, and like to an extent Jose Alvarado. Other than that, though, you don't have a guy like a perimeter defender. And I think that's what's been, and the worst part is, what's crazy is the team finished 6th in defensive rating last year. 6th. Is it all Herb Jones?
I mean, it wasn't anybody else.
Do you think the right move? Do you think the right move is to move JV? Do you think it's the actually right move? I mean, we just went through a list.
Man, that's a hard question from a basketball perspective. Like my preference is JV. I like JV. Like I think if you're gonna use him properly, like the thing is like all right. You want him to play drop coverage against smaller players, but then you don't let him attack them on the other end. So if you're gonna negate what his best skill is, which is scoring, if you're gonna negate that, scoring and rebounding, then there's no sense for you to have him because he's never gonna be a guy like defensively. He's never gonna be Jarrett Allen. He's never gonna be Evan Mobley. He's never gonna be Jarrett. What is Memphis' center name? I can't think of his name.
Jaren Jackson.
I haven't slept in 3 days because my baby is just going crazy.
You talk about
Yeah,
Jaren
Jaren
Jackson?
Jackson. Yeah, he's never gonna be Jaren Jackson. So why not go get a guy? And I'm with Chaz on the low cost, low usage guys. Like I like that. You save money there, and it can still be effective. Um, I do think though Willie Green has shown that JV isn't his particular style of center. So I think you should do what the head coach wants and bring in the type of player that he would want.
But we just went through a list of names, Lito, and we're all like, like I'm about to read you a couple stats about Jonas Valanciunas. In 2 years, out of 164 games, he's played 153 of them. He's had 93 double-doubles. He's averaged 16 points per game, 10.8 rebounds. In the last 2 seasons, has the 4th most double-doubles in the NBA.
Hey, Justin, I'm gonna just be honest with you. These people do not give a shit about that. He can't dunk like Zion. He can't block shots like Jaren Jackson. They don't feel like he's an effective player. And listen, from the coaching perspective, he played the least minutes. I think he played 1,900 minutes this year, and like it wasn't effective. Check this out. He was effective when he got the ball towards the end of the season. When you included him more in the offense and you kind of ran the offense through him, it was a huge difference. It was a huge uptick in his stats and in team numbers as far as like offensive rebounding, defensive rebounding. Like the plus minus was higher. The on court like percentages while he was playing was higher. So there are stats to back up his effectiveness, but like. It just don't.
Well, dude, just
don't
talking
seem like
through
they care.
I had in my mind like we're gonna go through targets and like we're gonna end up with like, okay, this is the perfect player for this team at the center position, and then we just got through all the what we just talked about, and I'm like, I don't know if I would trade him.
What did I tell you yesterday when we were texting about a list and I was like, nah, blah.
Everything was meh. Like, I don't think because like now I'm interested. I'm more worried about the depth of the center position because Larry Nance is not depth. Like, I don't expect Larry Nance to play the 5. That's a problem.
So are you done with your list? Do you have more players?
No, what you got? Go ahead.
So I mean, yesterday you brought up a name that I thought was interesting.
Who's that? I bring up a lot of names.
You brought up Zubac.
Zubac. I knew I was missing somebody. Okay, so let's talk about him, Lito. You can take this one. He makes $10 million. The Clippers just signed Westbrook to a really cheap deal. They have been in talks about James Harden, right? And so Paul George, Kawhi, James Harden, they're going to probably have to go cheap at the center position. Could they even afford Jonas? Well, I guess they pay the luxury. They don't give a shit. Go ahead with Zubac. I'm interested.
I mean, I think you got a 7'1" center at 26 years old. He was. I mean, obviously he's a low usage guy. He's not gonna be in that offense with those people. He wasn't a focal point of the offense. But I will say this: like he was in high company last year as far as like his shot blocking. He was in 75th percentile, which pretty much includes like guys like Evan Mobley and Porzingis. So you kind of got to respect him there. And as far as like the field goal percentage of offensive rebounds,
63.4,
solid. Like he basically gets 12% of his rebounds.
Do you worry that he has a similar game to JV though, in the sense of athleticism? Because it's very clear what Willie wants at the 5. He wants an athletic big. Like that's just very clear. Like Zach Collins is athletic, and I think Jarrett Allen's athletic. Jonas and Zubac, don't you feel like they're kind of like the same
I do. I think Jonas. I
There you
mean, I
go.
think Zubac has more. I mean, it's not much, but there's more foot speed, and he's younger. So oh, the thing about Zubac is he does not have. While Jonas is not a high percentage 3-point shooter, Jonas at least has the proficiency
He
to
can,
take the shot.
you have to respect it. Like, and also,
You
like I
gotta
talked about
respect
with
it.
this Ross, like Lito, like I wanted him to shoot more. I wanted him to shoot more threes. He should be getting 2 to 4 attempts a night.
The team
And
didn't
that's
want him
what
to
he was
shoot him.
doing.
The team didn't want him to shoot him.
There was
You
no identity. That's the reason why.
you cannot be you not just go stick Zubac on the 3-point line though. If that's what like how they used JV last year, if they're gonna implement that same thing, like
He
you're
didn't hit
gonna
a
be
three
even
last year.
worse.
Well, that's what I was
Zero
thinking
point
because
0%.
Borrego emphasizes 3-point shooting.
Well,
So
that's
Borrego with JV,
that's not the man for us.
that's probably not thinking about it. Now, okay, so one of the bigger hires this offseason was Borrego. So how does Jarrett Allen and um Zubac, how do these guys and Isaiah Stewart, like I'm just going down the list of like centers available. Like, how do those guys fit his scheme? Because they don't. Who was his center in Charlotte when he was I have
It's a,
to look that up.
it's a guy. It's a guy I know. Guy I know. I've been bringing up for some time. He's also a Clipper.
Nope, because I just saw that they're going to make him the starting center.
Yeah, well, that would be the answer to our problems.
Can you just for the viewers? Can you say the name?
Yeah, Myles Plumlee. And I know y'all probably like Myles Plumlee. What the fuck are you talking about, right? But I think you
Mason.
gotta
You mean I think you
Mason.
mean Mason Plumlee.
Lord, Jesus Christ.
You need
Say
some sleep,
Miles.
but go ahead.
Wow, tired. I know you probably just hearing Mason and you're like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, who? Why are you talking about him? And that's a fair, it's a fair point. But like Mason makes a lot of sense for this team, just simply because like Mason does the one thing from the center position that nobody else available does. He facilitates. He'll average, you know, hella. I think he put up maybe like 4 or 5 assists a game last year, and then he was the only person. I think he's an intriguing story because he literally was a 30 to 40% free throw shooter prior to going to the Clippers. Ended up changing his whole free throw style and ended up raising it to 70%. Um, he's not a shot blocker.
60% from the field for his career.
I mean, he's an athletic guy.
Efficient.
He can finish above the rim, short roll, pick and roll. He's not a pick and pop guy though. So if you catch him in between, like he had deer in headlights. But the thing about his game is that, this play we always talk about with Jackson Hayes standing on the 3-point line, Trey Murphy with the backdoor cut, and he didn't even see him. Like Plumlee would have made that pass.
Oh yeah, he's a high IQ guy. One guy we didn't talk about. One guy we did not mention, though.
Who the?
That actually I think is perfect. Myles Turner. How do we get him? How do you get Myles Turner?
Yo, Indiana doing some. Indiana fired this free agency also.
20 mil. Do you think that if you could land Myles Turner, you go in the tax? Because every year we talk about Myles Turner, but I feel like, man, if it ain't gonna be JV, it's gonna be Myles. But then once again, you're 20 mil for a center,
my
man.
thing. Here's my thing though with Myles. Myles is what, 27. Miles is not athletic. I know we keep harping on athletic. He's not really an athletic guy. He's not finishing above the rim like that. But in block shots, he's in the 95th percentile.
Bro.
So
you talk about it, like we talk about athletic. I'm not saying he's athletic, but what I'm saying is he can cover a lot of range. He could like switch. I would trust more Myles Turner switching on 1 through 5 than I would JV.
Let me ask you this though. All right, let me ask you this because I understand what you're saying. But let me ask you this: Would you rather have a shot blocker at center or a rebounder at center? Because Myles Turner is not giving you any rebounds,
which is crazy. Because he's not giving you rebounds.
6'11".
To be honest with you, it's a great question, and I'm actually gonna go with the shot blocker because you know who should be rebounding? Zion Williamson. We talked about this. Zion, Trey, and Herb need to up those numbers need to go up in rebounding.
Let me just say this: Zion averaging 7 rebounds a game for his career is criminal. It's no way. It's no way, brother. It's no way.
Should be more. So you wouldn't want Myles Turner? I mean, Myles Turner's the guy. I feel like
I would take him simply because of the, like you said, Borrego wants his centers to shoot threes. So, like,
what's your definition of? So I mean, what's your definition of rim protection? Is it
like,
just
I feel like a
blocking shot?
No. I feel
shots?
like a guy. Yep. I feel like that. I feel like the altering of it is more important than the actual block sometimes, because of just the intimidation factor. And then a lot of times you sight guys and taking bad shots they don't even want to take because they know they can't really come in there and get a decent look. They like, I know a layup is a high percentage shot, but most of the time, if you got a guy who will block a shot, that's not the highest percentage of a shot you should take in that possession. So I feel like a guy who can, roam the paint. I want a center that's kind of like a free safety. Like, man, if Jackson Hayes had a head on his shoulders, he'd have been perfect. But
can I ask you something?
Hmm?
Do you think Zion Williamson could be a rim protector then? Where you just said free safety, altering shots, things like that? Because that's what he was at Duke. I mean, do you remember all those weak side just coming over and I'm going to pin it and send it into the third row? Because he did it a couple times in the Pelicans. He's done it a couple times. Do you think he could possibly do that?
In spurts.
Why not consistently? Why not? He's athletic enough.
You got to ask him that. You got to ask him.
But is that a crazy thing to?
No, I don't think it's crazy, but I don't think he can. I just don't think he can come down every possession and do it. I just don't believe. I think he's gonna have to. I think he's gonna save his legs for offense. I mean, that's what I've seen from him.
But I hate that because
Absolutely.
like I look at the great, like I look at like the high end, like I look at Jason Tatum, I look at these guys that bring it on both sides of the floor, even like the Jaylen Brown. I think of Jimmy Butler. Like those guys don't save their legs. What does that mean? Save your legs? Why can't he be both ways? He makes enough money to be both ways.
That's crazy.
Am I crazy?
That.
What do you mean? What's crazy?
I'll tell you later.
I have that thought? That I have that thought?
No. Listen, this is the thing. You're not asking for a lot.
Frustrated. I'm getting frustrated.
You shouldn't be asking for a lot because he's making 100. He's a max player making 100 mil. You think he would set the tone for that? I'm just saying I don't think he can do it consistently. Yo, look, if you want to prove me wrong, I would love to be proven wrong, but I don't think he's gonna be able to do that consistently. And that's not a knock on him. It's just, I'm just saying, and maybe, listen, Justin, maybe it could have been the scheme prior to this year. It could have been the scheme. Maybe that wasn't what it was set for him to do. I don't know. I don't think a player can just change their stripes though overnight. Like I don't see that happening.
Like, are you frustrated right now or no?
I've been frustrated since. Oh, you talking about with free agency?
Yeah, just in general, the last couple of weeks, how this is shaking out with the whole, draft and Scoot and trade rumors and all that stuff. And now you're kind of.
Listen, I wanted Scoot for sure, but if they. Same thing.
Like, Kevin Durant plays defense, right? Why Kevin Durant plays? Like he tries on both ends of the floor too.
Championship player though, understands the responsibility and understand the intricacies of things that need to be done when you are contending for a championship.
I'm going to go through the highest paid players in the league, and Zion Williams is going to be up there. Kevin Durant plays both sides. Nikola Jokic tries to play both sides. Like Jokic is like, just he'll outsmart you. LeBron James, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson, Rudy Gobert, Anthony Davis, Zach LaVine, Ben Simmons, Pascal Siakam, Drew Holiday, Karl Anthony Towns, all these guys, Darius Garland.
Hey, bro, listen.
Zion's 28.
Listen.
And it's too much for me to ask if he could be a rim protector for the team.
I'm not saying it's too much. I'm just saying, listen, no. All right, hear me out. You can ask for things. That doesn't mean you're going to get them. I really do think. I mean, Zion was 6'7". I do think it's a bit over his head to be the primary rim protector on the team. I do think that's a lot.
I'm
To
not saying to
ask.
be the primary rim protector. I'm just saying to give me a little bit of rim protection and or rebound the basketball. Like he should be averaging double digits in rebounding. But that, I don't know. I the way you kind of looked at me like, oh, that's crazy to think about. Like, I'm just like, I mean, the guy's making 30. What's he making? What's he making this year? $34 million.
Hey, listen.
7 rebounds a game. And that's the problem, Lito. I keep cutting you off. The scapegoat's not JV. It's not. He is not the scapegoat. Like I hate that everything gets pinned on him because the motherfucker shows up every single night, gives you a double-double. He's giving you a double-double like 65 or 70% of the games he's played. Never bitches.
Mm-hmm.
And now we gotta trade him because he produces every night.
I'm with you. I'm with you in that aspect. But I'm gonna just be honest with you. You're not making that. You're not like like I don't know, man. I'm
crazy.
I'm frustrated with the collapse of the team from last year. So I'm just saying, have you ever seen a leopard change its stripes? Have you seen that what happened before? Have you seen somebody come in and show you who they are and then all of a sudden they just completely change their core makeup?
I'm gonna say a name. And it's probably gonna piss a lot of people off, but I think Anthony Davis has changed a little bit.
As far as
playing through pain. I saw it a lot this year. I saw that he did not want to play the 5, and when they were best, he played the 5. I thought, like, just off the top of my head, a guy changed his stripes, right? I mean, this is a terrible example. Charles Barkley, obviously, with those stories. I'm trying to think. Would you say Embiid?
I mean, he got in better shape than he was prior to him being into the NBA. I'll say Embiid brings it defensively. Motherfucker is also 7 foot, so he should be a good shot blocker or a good intimidator. I
mean, it's a great question, but like, if I then it goes back to this, Lito. If I know who I have, if he's not going to change, then why would I hang on to him in the first place? And here's the thing: I was actually like, I didn't want to trade Zion, but if it's too much to ask Zion to give you a little bit of defensive effort, I think that's a major problem. Your star guys have to give an effort on both sides of the floor. It's just not going to work. And here's the thing: Brandon does. I think Brandon actually does give effort defensively. I don't think he's that bad. I think he's average. I think when he like turns it on and wants to play defensively, I see it. Now Zion, I mean, how many times have you seen with Zion just lose a man, not rebound, not box out, so on and so forth? But defensively, it's all an effort thing. And I think that if Zion plays, and I think if he gives you effort on both ends, and that goes to Brandon and that goes to CJ as well, I think you'll get a totally different team.
He's a leader of the team, so it should go like that. Fuck, it should. It should be.
So it goes back to the whole point, right? It goes back to the whole point. Why is JV the guy? Well, what are we blaming him for? We're not bad because of JV. I can tell you that right now. We're not.
I mean, you don't have to tell me that. Like, I've been saying that for some time now, but I just.
I think if we trade JV, I think we get worse.
I just need to see who the options are, what they're bringing in.
Lito, there are no, like, we just went through it. There are not many. I mean, many options.
Listen, these guys get paid more money than we do to scout. Maybe they know something we don't know. Maybe there's a player.
I'm sure they do.
Like I'm looking at OKC bringing in a EuroLeague MVP, and I could have swore like Trajan was the European like whisperer as far as like European talent. And how do we not know about this guy?
I'm interested.
I'm not bitching. I'm just asking questions. Like I'm just I just want to know.
Yeah, I mean, just going through it, there's just a lot of limited options, in my opinion, and it sucks to where like I think Chaz tweeted out today. But what if we don't trade JV and just
I'd
kind
be,
of run it back?
I'd be fine with that. But I do not run it. I do not want to run it back with Garrett Temple as a playable guy on his roster. If he's not putting on the suit,
I mean, you had
retire.
Garrett Temple. He ain't gonna retire. He's gonna get paid. Garrett Temple, Kyra Lewis. Dude, we're already over the tax, and I still think we need to fill in 3 more roster spots.
Absolutely, we do.
So the only asset you can really trade is JV, and
Absolutely.
you have to downsize.
Yes, you have to.
Let's get to something.
Garrett Temple and Kyra in those deals also.
But why you? But when you do include that, you're also gonna have to attach first rounders or second rounders, and we don't have a lot of second rounders because we traded 4 of them for Josh Richardson for 2 months.
Shout out to Josh.
Once again, yeah, and shout out to Josh. That's great. But Devontae Graham and Chaz has been screaming this from the rooftops. Was a very tradable asset. What was it? 12.
Trade Lonzo Ball. You got Garrett Temple for Lonzo Ball. So
presented by Company Burger, located at 4600 Ferret Street. Let's get to good news. Herb Jones. Give me your thoughts. Me and Five talked about it, but shout out to Herb, man. Shout out to Herb. 4 years, $54 million. You saw Austin Reeves kind of get the same deal today. Lita, what are your thoughts on the deal for Herb Jones?
Herb Jones is the premier perimeter defender in the NBA. Might be a steal.
Might be. Why will it? Let me ask you this. Elaborate a little bit more on that. Why would it might be a steal? Like, what would he have to do in order for it to be a steal?
It's 2 things. It depends on his usage, how they use him, and it depends on how he effectively shoots from the 3-point line.
So it's usage and 3-point line for you, because you already know what he's going to bring defensively.
Yep.
Rockets have just signed Jeff Green too. The Rockets have made like 17 different.
Rockets signed my auntie, my grandma, my cousin. Rockets has signed my baby, baby on the line. The Rockets signing everybody.
I mean, the Rockets are. Do you think the Southwest has gotten better? Every team's gotten better.
Absolutely.
Do you think the Pelicans have gotten better?
Not yet. But the thing is the Pelicans is such a weird position because they technically don't need to necessarily get better. They need to stay healthy. Because if you 1-14, I'm a broken record. 1-14. You ask me what we need in free agency. We need health. What we need in the NBA draft, we need help. I do think adding a offensive engine like Jordan Hawkins is definitely makes your team better, provided the usage of him. I heard he's been killing in practice. So I you know,
heard we've heard some pretty good reports.
Heard people look foolish out there. Heard he got a lot more game too than just running behind screens and shooting threes. I heard he putting the ball on the floor, and excited to see him. See him next week.
We will see him next week. We will be in Vegas. Very excited for that. I wanted, before we wrap up, I wanted that last point, because you make a really good point. You look at the roster and you see CJ and Herb and Trey. We haven't even talked about Trey's. Brandon, Zion, JV. Then you have either Herb or Trey come off the bench, and you have Jose who's back healthy. Then you have Dyson Daniels, who, look, we haven't talked about Dyson. Dyson, the year 2 jump could happen. We're going to see him in summer league.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have EJ Liddell. You have Larry Nance. Once again, you got a good roster. But the whole thing is that you got to stay healthy. And everyone's pissed off for saying that now, because everyone's just like, we keep saying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, because they keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
They keep not being healthy. Like, not making this shit up.
We're going to do this again. Let me ask you this. If they stay healthy, yeah, where would you rank them just in the division? Where would you rank them? they stay healthy, fully healthy, where would you rank them? Memphis, Dallas, San Antonio, New Orleans, Houston. Where are you ranking them out of those 5?
I'm gonna say based on what I saw last season. I gotta give Memphis was an actual playoff team, and they were second in the NBA. I think I don't know if they finished second, but they were second in the NBA for a long
Now,
part of the season.
Jaws suspended for what, 30 games, 25 games?
25 games.
Okay. And he can't practice. He cannot be in the facility. He can't do anything.
That's a fair point.
He can't do anything.
That's a fair point. I'm going to say we the best team.
Today, we're the best team.
Yeah, we the best. With health, we are the best team. If 1 in 14 not healthy, we're not even talking about nothing.
Okay. So you say we're the best team in the division, which it doesn't really matter, but you're better than those 4 teams. You're better than Portland. Where would you rank?
Wait, Houston, right?
We're better than Houston. Fully healthy, yeah.
Yeah, we are better than Houston.
If I'm looking like 1 through,
I'm just thinking like they added a lot of people, and I'm just trying.
They've added a lot of people.
I think Ime have to get acclimated, or they're gonna have to get acclimated to Ime also. So it's gonna be probably. I'm gonna say probably a season and a half before they're actually good.
Questions are starting to roll in now. Let me ask you this: I think the Lakers are done making moves for the rest of the offseason.
They don't really have to make any more moves. They do need another big though.
Okay, so a lot of people have been saying great offseason. Fully healthy, do you think the Lakers are better than the Pelicans?
No, but listen, no. But I would have told you no last year, and look what happened.
We weren't healthy when we were playing them.
When are we healthy?
Valid point. Okay. Is OKC better than us?
That's a good question, man.
They have the check question.
They got the check answer. The answer. Chet's the answer.
SGA is a stud. Lou Dort. They got I love Giddy. But are they better than us?
They're not better. Shai's the best player on that team. Is Shai better than Brandon or Zion?
He's not better than Zion, and I don't know why, but I love Shai.
It's a question.
I don't think he's better than Brandon overall. I don't.
Is his production better than Brandon?
Yeah.
So is he better than Brandon?
I don't know, because I see Brandon for those last 3 weeks. I'm like, God damn, this dude is if Brandon gives me that for a full fucking season, dude, that Brandon, when the ball's in his hands and he's reading the defense and he's hitting the midi and he's an extend out to deep, and then also he's assisting.
Why do we have
Brandon's scary, bro?
Why do we have so many ifs?
I think 1 in 14 have to grow up. I think you're going to see a different Brandon this year. And for God's sake, can we please see a different Zion? I'm not worried about 14. I'm worried about 1.
You have no reason to worry
14's
about 14.
14's got to show up this year. 14 has a lot on the line. He has a contract coming up. This is a huge, I think, in my opinion, this is a huge year for Brandon.
14 is working. I'm no concern about 14. 14 is working.
And it was also nice to hear Trey Murphy in Spaces say that he had turf toe, which is completely different than a bruise or a jam or whatever. Turf toe, that's a problem.
That's what I said 18 weeks ago. It was, but I'm not a trainer and I don't work on the medical staff. But I said how that was going.
You hear turf toe, that's different than a bruise or a jam.
It retired Deion Sanders. It retired him.
It's a brutal injury. It's Michael Thomas, right? Michael Thomas had turf toe.
I thought he had. I don't know. I thought he had an ankle issue.
Whatever. Turf toe sucks. That changed my perspective. Are we better? Lakers, Clippers right now? Oh.
I mean, they're in the
Clippers
same
are
boat.
good. Clippers are
They,
good.
they're
I
in the
think
same boat we in. It's 1-14.
Clippers, Denver.
It's 2-14 for them.
It's 2-4.
Same. It's the same. It's literally the
Paul
same.
George is 13, I think, right?
13. 2-13.
What if we run it back?
We are running it back. What you mean? What are you talking about? We are running it back.
Because I think if we trade, I would say it now. I think if we trade Jonas Valanciunas, it's a huge mistake.
Depends on who you trade him to. If you're trading him in this division, it's a huge mistake.
But then if you have a cheap owner, it really is all like, like one of my buddies texted me like, when are y'all gonna call out Gale for being so cheap? As Christian says, we're one of two teams to never pay the tax ever. But then I think of the flip side of this thing, Lito. Like,
what incentive does she have to pay it?
Why would you invest in a team that's finished 13th, 12th, 9th, and 9th? Your two best players never really play. Your all generational talent is somewhat of a mess right now.
She got 3 max contracts on the roster at this very moment. Why would she invest in a team? Why would she? I need incentive to invest. Like
for the fans. Then why, as a fan, why would I invest in the team if you're not going to update?
I can't blame that on Gale. I gave these 3 motherfuckers a max. These motherfuckers aren't healthy. That's not my fault. Gale ain't hooping. Like Gale ain't putting her shoes on. Like she just spending the money. She spent the money where she was supposed to spend the money. I'm not keeping for Gale because I feel like there's been missteps along the way. I feel like Oshner is fraudulent. But I feel like as far as like that, I think you gotta have incentive to go into if for instance, say we were to make it to the Western Conference Finals this year and we were 1 or 2 pieces away, right? Maybe they didn't look at the roster and be like, hey, look, you know what? Let's tiptoe the line of tax.
I don't even know that, Lito. I think they just make the playoffs. We're having a different conversation. Like, oh wow, we made the playoffs and Zion even played 29 games. Imagine if we get him back and then we can get some depth. But man,
that's the wrong way to look at it. That's the problem. It's the wrong way to look at it. History does nothing but repeat itself. That's all it ever does. You need insurances for 1-14.
1-14 Summer League coming up next week. Let's end it with this. Who are you excited to see? Most excited?
Oh, I'm excited to see Jordan.
Most excited. I'm very excited to see Jordan. I'm really excited. Yeah, I think the easy answers were Jordan and Carlo. I'm actually really excited to see Dyson because I want to see if he's grown. Like I want to see like dominance from Dyson. Like this, I remember last year, Lito, Trey had to play 2 games because he dropped like 30 and 35. He's like, all right, like your summer's done.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want to see Dyson drop 30 points, but I want to see Dyson fill up a box score and dominate.
All right. The show is presented to you by Company Burger. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being disrespectful. I just don't think that's what Dyson Daniels does. I'd like to be proven wrong though.
So you've been doing this now, I guess, for a full year and a half, a little close to 2 years. Mm-hmm. What's it like covering the people watching? What's it like daily covering this team?
It's hard because I know things that I can't say publicly. And I have people talking to me crazy when I say something, and I'm like, dog, you don't even know. So far off. And it's hard being a fan of the team and like being a part of the team because you know certain things and you know why certain things happen. And you can't ever say, I have so much respect for people like Christian Clark and like Schmidt and like just the people who like actually, you know what I'm saying? Like they covering the team. But like, yeah, like, it's tough, which is why like I don't tweet about basketball a lot anymore because it's interesting. It's interesting to see the inner workings of certain things and like just knowing information and like knowing stuff is gonna happen before it happens. You know what I'm saying? Like knowing like, damn, wait till this news drops. It's like
it's pretty crazy. It's a lot. Like, comment, subscribe. We will probably not see up for the 4th of July, so happy 4th of July. Stay safe out there. And then our next show will be from Vegas. We are potentially working on a special guest or two. Won't say their names. Hopefully we get that locked up, but we will be in Vegas from Thursday night to Sunday. Hope to see a lot of the Pels 12 out there. Man, keep JV. Presented by Birdsall Law Firm and DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Boot Crew Media and the NBA. We will see y'all later.